My partner cheated with my best friend. Feeling lost. I was fixing coffee when I heard his phone buzz. Just another Tuesday, or so I thought. The smell of hazelnut creamer mixed with the cinnamon candle I'd lit to combat the dreary October rain. Mark was in the shower, humming our song, the one he'd played on guitar the night he proposed. I smiled absently, stirring my mug, until the phone buzzed again. And again. I shouldn't have looked. But then again, he'd never hidden his passcode. Work emergency, he'd said that morning, kissing my forehead before heading to the office. But his texts were never this urgent. My thumb hovered, guilt prickling, until the preview lit up the screen, 12:03 p.m. Jess, can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again? The mug slipped. Coffee splattered the counter, pooling in the grooves of the hardwood like ink. Jess. My Jess. The one who'd held my hair back during my worst hangovers in college, who'd FaceTimed me weekly after Mark and I moved across the state, who'd stood beside me at our wedding in that terrible lavender bridesmaid dress, laughing as she toasted to the kind of love that ruins rom-coms for the rest of us. The water stopped running. I crammed the phone back on the charger, shoulders rigid, heart thrashing. Don't jump to conclusions, maybe it's a joke, a misunderstanding. But the emojis that followed, the hearts, the fire, the godforsaken expletive winky face stung like acid. The red flags had been there. I just hadn't wanted to see them. Mark had started staying late at work 2 months ago. Big project, he'd say, brushing away my concern with a tired smile. But his exhaustion felt different lately, charged, almost giddy. He'd come home with takeout from Jess's favorite Thai place, claiming he'd craved it out of nowhere. He'd bought a new cologne, something muskier, and I'd caught Jess's perfume on his collar once. Must have hugged her at the gym, he'd shrugged. Jess, meanwhile, had grown distant. Her texts were shorter, her visits rarer. Last week, I'd called her crying after a fight with my mom. She'd cut me off mid-sentence. Sorry, gotta run, something came up. Her tone was clipped, nervous. I'd chalked it up to stress. Now, standing in our kitchen, I replayed every glance, every inside joke between them. The way he'd laugh a beat too long at her stories, how she'd accidentally called him babe last month, slip of the tongue, she'd insisted, face red. The bathroom door creaked open. Mark stepped out, towel slung low, still humming. Our song. His smile faltered when he saw my face. Hey, who is she? I whispered. His eyes flicked to his phone. Silence. He didn't deny it. Just sat at the table, head in his hands while I stood frozen, coffee dripping onto my socks. 6 years. 6 years of shared bills and inside jokes and IVF appointments. 6 years of him holding me when the miscarriages wrecked us. We're a team, he'd say, always. And Jess. 20 years of friendship. She knew my deepest fears, my triggers, the way I take my coffee. She'd been there when my dad died. She picked my husband. It just happened, Mark mumbled. We didn't plan it. It was only a few times, only. The word lodged in my throat. I thought of the nights I'd texted Jess, worried Mark was depressed. He's just stressed, she'd reassured me. Give him space. All that time, her fingers were in his hair, her lips on his neck. I couldn't breathe. The room tilted. I grabbed my keys, my coat. Wait, please, where are you going? Mark reached for me, but I flinched. His touch felt like a stranger's. I don't know. I slept in my car that night, parked at a rest stop. Rain blurred the windshield, and every song on the radio felt like a taunt. I called in sick to work, ignored the 37 texts, 18 from Mark, 5 from Jess, 14 from concerned mutual friends. At 3 a.m., I drove to Jess's apartment, not to confront her, just to see. Her lights were on, his car wasn't there, but through the blinds I saw her pacing, phone pressed to her ear, crying or pretending to. Was she begging him to choose her, apologizing to me, planning her next lie? I didn't knock. Now it's been 3 days. Mark's sleeping on the couch. Jess keeps sending voicemails. I'm so sorry. Let me explain. You're my sister. I haven't eaten.
Haven't cried since that first hour, just numbness, stitching me together like cheap thread. The worst part? A sliver of me still wants to believe him, to believe her, to pretend this is a bad dream. But then I remember the emojis, the perfume, the way he'd looked at her during my birthday dinner, a glance I brushed off as nostalgia. I'm writing this from a motel. Mark doesn't know I'm here. The room smells like bleach and regret. My hands won't stop shaking. What now? Divorce feels inevitable, but do I fight for us? Do I tell everyone? How do I mourn two people who aren't dead? A text just lit up my phone. Mark, please come home. We need to talk. I don't know how to exist in a world where home isn't ours anymore. TLDR. Found out my husband and best friend have been having an affair. Now I'm couch hopping and questioning every memory we ever made.